During my sophomore season, it was a really big shock to me, just how successful I was. I don't think I was really prepared for how much attention I was going to get.
Smashed the course record, Olivia Williams.
Did you say, Tim, that there was someone who's only been running for 10 months?
Yeah, Olivia Williams.
Come out of your mouth?
Wait till you see her. She's a tiny little thing, but she's a water polo player, so you know she's tough.
She run under 17, I think 59. First thing she asked, is that a good time?
16:56, which puts her in the top 5 times of the all-time for Division 4. Olivia Williams.
In her section meet, she ran 16:15 to win the title. That time equaled the course record set in 2001 by Amber Trotter, and that is the year that Trotter went on to dominate and win the Foot Locker National. She was third in our Eastbay West Regional, Olivia Williams. In 2021, Eastbay Girls National Championship.
My name is Olivia Williams, and I took a break from cross-country and track to deal with an eating disorder. I've always been a perfectionist and very driven and very determined to be better than other people. And for me, I felt like my performance was really dependent on my weight because I saw other girls at the highest level doing the same. I decided that in order to be the best runner and better than anyone, I had to be smaller than everyone. I knew it was probably unhealthy and dangerous for me, but I decided that that was what I had to do to become the best and to continue racing faster. Going into my sophomore cross-country season, I was about 105 pounds. And by the end of that season, I was around 95 pounds. Some of the warning signs I first noticed, I felt cold all the time. I was still doing water polo at the time, and there were a couple practices where I was so cold that I had to get out and leave early. My hair started falling out. I had a vitamin deficiency, which I didn't know at the time, but I started getting a really serious rash on my hands. Instead of maybe taking the signs and symptoms that I was feeling, like that low energy and lack of rest, and listening to my body, I decided that I needed to push harder and that I just wasn't working hard enough. If you'd asked my coaches or teammates, I don't think they would have noticed significant red flags because I was constantly eating, but I wasn't eating enough compared to what I was doing in training and with exercise.
I knew her history going into the season, talking to her parents, a previous coach of hers, but even though I had that going into it, it was really hard to adjust any sort of training or race schedule because she really did seem like it was all fine. I mean, it's hard to think that someone that is breaking course records is struggling internally or having health problems.
Once I started the track season in the spring, that number dropped even lower to 90 pounds. And once it reached that low, my doctors decided that I needed to stop running immediately. They were pulling me out of my season right before state. Having that season cut short left me feeling really, really angry. I had a lot of anger towards my providers and my parents because I felt like they were being unfair because I didn't see myself as being unhealthy. I was reluctant to go into treatment, and I didn't feel like trying to accomplish the doctor's goals. I eventually went on home hospital, which meant that I didn't attend school. When I went to this treatment center, they told me I would have to reach a minimum of 125 pounds in order to be able to start training again.
Olivia's journey wasn't just about gaining the 35 pounds needed to be at a healthy weight. It was about regaining a life that she had just learned to cherish.
Being able to be around my teammates every day was one of the biggest motivators while I was in recovery. because they're my best friends and we spend so much time together and we're all so close that it felt like not coming to practice every day was like not seeing my family every day. It made such a difference to my mental health to be able to be around them, because it made me realize that they liked me for who I was, whether I was running or wasn't.
Even though the fastest girl on the team will stick around and cheer for girls in the JV or the lower levels, she, as a sophomore, ended up making herself responsible for like the senior posters on their last race, giving them a little bit of a senior day.
So the first step was learning how to take a break and take a step back from activity altogether. So for the first 6 weeks in the program, I was not allowed to do any activity. That was a real challenge for me, learning how to rest. Definitely had to expand the variety of foods I was eating. I had a small range of foods that I was comfortable with, and I wouldn't eat anything outside of that. And so incorporating things like fast food, eating out at restaurants, even just packaged snacks, all of those were pretty challenging for me because it had been so long since I'd eaten them, and really increasing the amount of food that I ate in one sitting were all really big changes that I made to gain the 35 pounds while I was in the program.
Why are you guys so stressing over this? Am I gonna like forget it halfway through?
No, I'm not. I know this by heart. She's the one stressing over it. She's writing it on her hand.
Wait, what's on your hand?
She's leading.
Writing the clues because she can't remember where to go.
She can't mess up. She can't mess up. Yeah. If she messes up, then everybody messes up.
At this point, I'm more excited to just be out there and be running than worrying about anything else. So I'm hoping that just being surrounded by my team and back running races will override any sort of nerves I have. This season, I really want our team to go to state. I think being a senior, there's a lot of pressure to have your senior season as your best one. But I'm really trying not to put that pressure on myself because I don't want to rush anything and I don't want to enter another cycle of injuries. And so I think focusing on team goals has really helped me stay motivated and enjoy it a lot more and take that pressure off of me.
Olivia returned to a familiar course, but this time in a body she's becoming more familiar with. Despite that, she still won Farmer Invite in dominant fashion, but it's not the victories that are important anymore. It's much more than that.
Great job. All right, so this is Bruno Moreland with Mospit, Northern California. Olivia, tell us about your race.
Hard. For so long, I just had a really negative relationship with my brain and my body, and I wouldn't say it's anything close to perfect, but I think I've done a much better job at being able to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. More than anything, I've learned how to be resilient and to persevere despite the worst circumstances anyone could imagine.
Do this at least one more time.
When you're coaching, these are human lives, and there's so much more than just a number. And Olivia's case really just highlights that way more, because you have someone that is doing everything that they can to reach that number, and they're doing it in a way that is harmful to themselves.
Being in a sport where you're always searching for more, always searching for a better time or the next PR, can be really toxic. And I think going to Foot Locker and seeing other girls with similar issues made it feel like it was okay to have an eating disorder, and it made it feel like having an eating disorder and not fueling properly was what I needed to do to get to that level.
What I would like to see is that everyone else in the running world to accept it as a problem that needs to be fixed, and not necessarily like shy away from helping those people or including those people. I would want her story to try and change that, to show that the people involved and that are struggling through these things like have a lot to offer, and they shouldn't be seen as like risk cases that you have to take a chance on. You know, she's an amazing person, an amazing runner, and any like college program would be really lucky to have her.
View yourself as more than just a runner, because running will always be there for you, but your health won't. And honor and appreciate what your body does for you. When those sacrifices impede your body's natural development, like missing a menstrual cycle or not growing, then that should be a serious red flag that you've left the territory of being a driven and dedicated athlete, and you're entering a world of reckless habits. And so I think, although sacrifices have to be made, if certain things aren't happening that need to in order for you to grow and develop, then those sacrifices aren't worth it.